Hey, welcome to Dividends Friday. Hang on. Now, wow, this handphone is a bit hanging. So it's time to get a new phone. And guess what is the hot new phone in the market right now? Right here, you can see is the Huawei P30 that have 50 times zoom. I've got no idea why anyone needs 50 times of zooming, but maybe we are going to expect a lot of footages and photos of moon on Facebook and Instagram right now. But I want to share with you something very interesting, and it's got to relate with the talk that we're going to talk about this week, or the stock that we're going to talk about. It's like, you know that for years, we know that when Apple launch a new phone, people will be queuing up, there'll be long queues. And just last year in September 2018, Huawei actually hijacked Apple Store queues and hand out its own like chargers and juice, because like they know that people will be there. There's a lot of database, there's a lot of traffic of humans. That's where they say, hey, come on, let's take a free charger, take a free juice. And you guess what? This year, they went even more extreme. They launched their new handphone called P30 with a 50 times zoom, and they actually no longer need to hijack Apple's queue, because Huawei, for the first time, or at least based on what I know, for the first time ever, other than Apple, they created their own long queue for people queuing up for their new phone. Now, to me, this is something very, very significant. Why is that so? Because for the longest time, right, we always feel that Apple has a very premium brand. They created a culture, and there's fans of Apple. So people are excited and they queue for Apple's phone. But now, Huawei has shown the rest of the world that they can create a culture like this. What I personally feel, I'm not asking you guys to actually possibly invest into Huawei, but rethink the whole entire industry. For the longest time, I feel that Apple has a very strong brand. Now I feel that the brand has a dent. There's a bite in the apple, and maybe they already like predicted many years ago. See, there's a bite in the apple, showing the rest of the world. Huawei showing the rest of the world that, well, we can actually fight Apple. So next up, you will see like people queuing up for Samsung phone, for maybe Oppo phone. I got no idea. But what I can share with you is, you can see that this handphone industry keeps changing over and over again. I've been using Nokia, and okay, that reveals my age. And followed by Sony Ericsson. Then is it Motorola? You can see that the leaders keep changing. Consumers like ourselves, we keep going for the new things. So I'm not going to talk about phones. I'm not talking about like investing into mobile phones manufacturer. Instead, I want to think about something even more long-term, something more boring. And this is my topic of the week. Singapore Telecommunications Limited. Boring. But take a look at the price. For the past 5 years, it has reached quite a bottom. And the dividend yield, you can see right now, is about 5.52%. This, to me, is interesting. Oh, but Sean, take a look. The stock price has been falling. Wouldn't it go even further down? I have got no idea. The P ratio is 9.5. The dividend yield is 5.52. Let's go and re-look at the business performance and see whether it's a company that's worth for us to invest in. Going into Singapore Telecommunications financials, we can see revenue relatively flat. Not very surprising, okay, because it is not something that we expect to grow by 20-30% every single year. It's flat because you can see later I'll be talking about the different types of competition in this industry. However, you will know that no matter which like service provider you use, most of them will still rely on a certain network or certain satellites, either Singtel or StarHub. But this doesn't mean that it can escape competition. But let's take a look at their performance. Let's look at their net income. You can see again, pretty flat over the years. There's one extraordinary income last year, but that one is not something that we should be too excited about. But over the years, you can see flat. Earnings per share, also pretty flat. Dividends, very stable, increasing. The concern, okay, because it's not all bright and shiny or like with rainbows and sunshine. Payout ratio about 50%, growing to even up to 90%. This to me is a red alert, but again, I will be interested to observe a while. However, I don't feel that it's a very, very big concern yet, because right now you can see the dividends are paying lesser than the earnings per share. So the payout ratio is still pretty decent. But there's one more concern I want to show you guys. Free cash flow per share. For most of the time, you can see the earnings per share and the free cash flow matches each other. Meaning to say, when we look at the payout ratio, they are paying out dividends based on how much cash they can afford. But in the recent few years, okay, this portion shows a little bit of, or rather, I have a bit of concern for this. Free cash flow per share about 15 cents, but they're giving out 17 cents of dividends. But overall, my confidence for this company is still pretty strong. They don't have a huge debt, interest coverage 11.6, meaning to say they can pay interest 11 times over, and debt to equity, the latest about 0.31. So not too much debt as compared to some of their other competitors. You can take a look at other telcos, huge debt, which is a huge concern. This one very, I would say, sustainable in my opinion. Now the next portion I want to look at is net margin. This company has been performing very stably, more than double-digit net margin. This year is a dip, and that probably explains why the price actually went down a bit. There's a concern of many competition, which is the key risk. But overall, let's take a look. These are the comparison. You can see I didn't even know there's so much choices, you know. And even when my wife want to buy this new P30 Huawei, she's thinking about like, wow, can she switch from Apple to Huawei? But I think this is a short-term concern. After a while, most people can get used to it. But the next thing is, which one should they change into? Okay, this is contributed by Silly. You can see that should they use M1, StarHub, Singtel, and it doesn't matter to you if whether it's a listed company, whether their earnings per share is doing well. We will probably go for a price competition, since Singapore is relatively accessible in the sense that wherever you are, the net will be okay. So this is my stock pick for this week in terms of dividends. Singtel, in my opinion, I will still see them being around for the next 5-10 years. And the dividend yield now is like 5%. Even if it drops a bit, maybe it goes to 4%, it's still very decent. I think it is here to stay. So coming back to Dividends Friday. Oops. Just to say goodbye. So checking off now. I'll see you next Friday. We'll talk about more dividend stocks. I hope that you have been enjoying this series. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button. And don't forget to just go and invest. Don't just watch these videos. Just pick one or two. Start collecting many dividend stocks to create passive income for you guys. Okay, signing out now. Goodbye.